First contact deception. The starship emerged from hyperspace like a silver needle threading through the fabric of reality. Inside, Supreme Commander Zach Still of the Galactic Confederation's exploration fleet studied the blue-green planet with his 4 eyes, each modified with different scanning capabilities. Earth looked remarkably unremarkable, exactly as their advanced probes had reported. "Status report," he commanded, his translator converting his harmonic speech into standard Confederation protocol. "Primitive nuclear fission technology detected, Supreme Commander," his science officer responded. "Rudimentary satellite network. Significant atmospheric pollution. Multiple ongoing regional conflicts. Assessment confirms preliminary classification. Pre-unification civilization, development stage 3. Zach Still's secondary breathing membrane fluttered in satisfaction. These missions were always the same. Identify developing worlds, establish dominance through technological superiority, and integrate them into the Confederation. The humans would be no different. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, Dr. Sarah Chen watched the alien vessel's arrival through quantum-entangled sensors that shouldn't exist according to humanity's official technological capability. The bunker around her hummed with energy as some of Earth's most advanced AI systems processed the data streaming in. They took the bait. She transmitted to United Earth Defense Command. "The degraded satellites and outdated nuclear plants we left visible are giving exactly the readings we wanted." The response came instantly through her neural implant. "Maintain facade. Operation Sheep's Clothing is proceeding as planned." Sarah allowed herself a small smile. Humanity had detected the Confederation's probe ships 3 years ago, using technology that even the Confederation's most advanced sensors couldn't detect. Since then, they had orchestrated the greatest deception in human history, making Earth appear to be a fractured, primitive world while secretly preparing for this moment. Above, Zach Still dispatched first contact protocols with the confidence of someone who had done this 1,000 times before. His ship's AI began broadcasting the standard greeting message, a carefully crafted combination of impressive technological display and subtle psychological intimidation. The humans responded exactly as expected. Their primitive radio transmissions were filled with excitement, fear, and awe. Their military vessels, pathetically vulnerable chemical rockets armed with nuclear warheads, moved into defensive positions that would be useless against even the most basic Confederation technology. Such a predictable species, Zach Still commented to his bridge crew. "Begin standard infiltration procedures. I want deep scans of their military capabilities and resource deposits." In the Himalayan Command Center, General Maya Patel watched the alien scans bounce harmlessly off Earth's quantum camouflage systems. The real Earth military, a unified force that had long ago moved beyond primitive rockets and nuclear weapons, remained invisible beneath layers of technology that the Confederation couldn't even theorize existed. "Status of the Gaia network," she asked her command staff. "Online and undetected, General." Colonel James Chen, Sarah's brother, reported. "The biosphere itself is ready to respond to any hostile action. They still think our most advanced weapon is a nuclear missile." Maya nodded, reviewing the real-time data flowing through her neural interface. Humanity had learned long ago that true power lay not in showing strength, but in being underestimated. They had unified their world not through conquest, but through the realization that the galaxy was full of civilizations like the Confederation, arrogant, expansionist, and convinced of their own superiority. So they had waited, advanced in secret, and prepared. Every primitive satellite contained quantum sensors. Every polluted industrial zone housed molecular assemblers. The very bacteria in Earth's soil had been engineered to respond to human commands. "They're launching infiltration pods," Sarah reported from her underwater command center. "Stealth technology that they think is centuries beyond our capability to detect." Maya allowed herself a predatory smile. "Let them come. Operation Sheep's Clothing enters Phase 2. Show them exactly what they expect to see. Nothing more, nothing less." As Confederation infiltrators began their covert landing operations, humanity's greatest weapon remained perfectly concealed: the appearance of weakness. The wolves had dressed themselves as sheep, and the shepherds had no idea they were about to become prey. In his ship, Zaxtil began composing his preliminary report to Confederation High Command. Native species shows no signs of advanced technology or unified planetary defense. Integration procedures proceeding according to standard protocols. He had no way of knowing that his transmissions were being intercepted, analyzed, and allowed to proceed by systems he couldn't detect. Humanity had learned the art of patience, of letting their enemies underestimate them until the perfect moment to strike. The game had begun, and only one side knew they were playing: the silent defense. The Confederation infiltration team moved through New York City with what they believed was perfect stealth. Their adaptive camouflage suits, designed to bend light and mask energy signatures, made them invisible to what they understood of human technology. They passed through crowds of humans, gathering data, completely unaware that every single step was being monitored. Lieutenant Aisha Pasha sat in what appeared to be a hot dog cart in Central Park, her quantum interface disguised as a simple paper crossword puzzle. Through it, she tracked the aliens' movements with amused precision. Her cart, like thousands of others scattered throughout the city, contained sensor arrays that could detect subatomic fluctuations in space-time. Team 3 passing your position, she subvocalized, the message traveling through the quantum network to United Earth Defense Command. They're scanning our power infrastructure. Should I let them find the fusion reactor leak? Proceed, came the response from General Patel. Let's reinforce their assumptions about our technological level. The infiltrator's sensors soon picked up what appeared to be radiation leakage from a poorly shielded fusion experiment. In reality, it was a carefully crafted emission designed to match exactly what the Confederation expected from a civilization at Earth's supposed development stage. Above the city, Zaxtil received the infiltration team's reports with growing confidence. Primitive fusion attempts, scattered renewable energy infrastructure, no sign of unified planetary power grid, he summarized for his command staff. Exactly as expected. What his sensors couldn't detect was the real power grid, a network of zero-point energy collectors that powered Earth's true civilization. The scattered solar panels and wind turbines visible to alien scans were merely props in humanity's planetary-scale deception. Deep beneath the Antarctic ice, Dr. Marcus Wong coordinated the global response to the alien presence. The facility around him hummed with the power of technologies that would seem like magic even to the Confederation. Status of the Gaia network, he asked his team. Fully operational, responded Dr. Elena Volkov, her hands dancing through holographic displays. The biosphere modifications are complete. Every plant, every microorganism, even the planet's magnetic field itself is ready to respond to our commands. Humanity had spent decades preparing the Earth itself as a weapon, but in ways no alien civilization would think to look for. They didn't just build defensive systems, they had evolved them, grown them, integrated them so completely with the natural world that they were indistinguishable from it. In orbit, a Confederation science vessel detected what they believed to be unusual solar activity. Supreme Commander, the science officer reported to Zaxtil, we're detecting increased solar radiation. The primitive human satellites appear to be suffering damage. Expected behavior for their level of technology, Zaxtil responded dismissively. Their shielding is inadequate for even basic solar phenomena. The solar activity was actually a test of Earth's most sophisticated defense system, a network of quantum field manipulators that could control local space-time itself. The damaged satellites were carefully sacrificed props, broadcasting exactly the kind of distress signals expected from primitive human technology. In the Amazon rainforest, Dr. Isabella Santos monitored another aspect of Earth's true defense network. To alien scans, she appeared to be conducting basic ecological research. In reality, she was coordinating with the engineered biosphere itself. Every tree, every insect, every microscopic organism in the soil had been modified at the genetic level to serve as both sensor and potential weapon. The fungal network is tracking their ground teams perfectly, she reported. They have no idea that the very soil beneath their feet is analyzing their every move. The Confederation's infiltrators continued their survey, finding exactly what they expected: a primitive civilization struggling with pollution, climate change, and technological limitations. They never suspected that the smog in the air contained networked nanoparticles feeding data directly to Earth's defense systems, or that the climate patterns they observed were carefully controlled performances. In Washington, D.C., humanity's political leaders maintained their own performance. They broadcast messages of peace and cooperation, while appearing appropriately awed by Confederation technology. Every response was calculated to reinforce the aliens' sense of superiority. Their psychological profile is developing exactly as predicted, reported Dr. James Morrison, Earth's leading genopsychologist. They see us as primitive, divided, and technologically inferior. Their superiority complex is working in our favor. General Patel received these reports with satisfaction. The Confederation was falling perfectly into humanity's trap, never suspecting that their every action was being guided by the very primitives they sought to dominate. Begin Phase 3 preparations, she ordered. Let's show them another carefully crafted weakness for their collection. As night fell over Earth, the Confederation's ships gleamed in orbit, their crews confident in their complete understanding of the primitive world below. They never noticed that the very starlight reflecting off their hulls was being analyzed by quantum sensors disguised as normal atmospheric particles, or that Earth's apparent darkness concealed a civilization far more advanced than they could imagine. The silent defense continued, invisible and perfect, waiting for the moment when humanity would finally reveal its true nature to an unsuspecting galaxy. Nature's warriors. The first sign that something was wrong came when Infiltration Team 6 disappeared in the Siberian wilderness. Their last transmission mentioned unusual atmospheric readings before going silent. Supreme Commander Zach Still dismissed it initially. Primitive worlds often had dangerous weather patterns that could interfere with equipment. When Team 4 vanished in the Amazon rainforest the next day, he began to worry. Status report, he demanded from his science officer. What environmental factors could be causing these failures? Unknown. Supreme Commander, the officer replied, multiple appendages moving across holographic displays. Our sensors detect only normal planetary weather patterns and standard biological activity. That was exactly what Earth's defense systems wanted them to see. In reality, both teams had encountered humanity's first subtle demonstration of power. In Siberia, the very air had crystallized around the infiltrators, trapping them in a lattice of modified water molecules that their sensors registered as natural ice formation. In the Amazon, engineered plants had released targeted electromagnetic pulses that shut down their equipment while appearing to be nothing more than normal bioelectric fields. Dr. Isabella Santos watched through the quantum network as automated systems retrieved the incapacitated alien teams. Phase 3 proceeding as planned, she reported. Their biological samples are being collected now. In the Antarctic Command Center, Dr. Marcus Wong analyzed the captured alien technology with growing satisfaction. Their defensive systems are exactly what we predicted, he announced to the assembled command staff. They rely entirely on energy shields and sophisticated materials. They have no concept of biological integration or quantum camouflage. General Patel nodded, her neural interface processing multiple streams of data simultaneously. Begin active resistance protocols, she ordered. Let's show them just enough to make them nervous, but not enough to reveal our true capabilities. Across Earth, carefully orchestrated natural phenomena began to interfere with Confederation operations. Magnetic field fluctuations disrupted their communications in patterns that seemed random, but were precisely calculated. Atmospheric disturbances forced their ships to adjust flight paths, herding them away from humanity's most sensitive installations while appearing to be nothing more than normal weather. In orbit, Zach Still was beginning to feel uneasy. These environmental conditions are becoming problematic, He noted to his command staff, "Increase scanning power. I want to know if these primitive humans are somehow influencing their planet's systems." The enhanced scans revealed exactly what humanity wanted them to see: crude attempts at weather modification and basic environmental engineering. The real systems, operating at the quantum level through engineered microorganisms and modified physical laws, remained completely invisible. Lieutenant Aisha Pasha, still maintaining her cover as a food vendor, monitored the aliens' growing frustration with quiet amusement. Through her quantum interface, disguised as an ordinary tablet, she watched their increasing scan attempts bounce harmlessly off Earth's defensive systems. "They're starting to suspect something," she reported, "but they're looking in all the wrong places." In the Pacific depths, Dr. Sarah Chen coordinated with the Marine Defense Network. Schools of engineered fish carried quantum sensors throughout the oceans, while modified bacteria in the water provided a planetary-scale computing network that the aliens' technology couldn't even detect. "Ocean-based defenses are ready," she confirmed. "The moment they try to access our deep-sea resources, they'll find out just how hostile Earth's environment can be." The first real test came when a Confederation mining ship attempted to extract mineral samples from the Mariana Trench. As their equipment descended into the depths, the water itself seemed to come alive. Microscopic organisms altered their electrical properties in ways that created cascading equipment failures. The pressure at that depth, carefully manipulated by quantum field generators disguised as natural geological formations, increased far beyond normal parameters. The mining ship retreated, its systems damaged by what its crew believed to be unusual but natural deep-sea conditions. Their reports to Zaxtil raised more concerns. "Supreme Commander," his chief scientist reported, "these environmental phenomena cannot be purely natural. The pattern suggests some form of control, but we detect no technology capable of such manipulation." Zaxtil's unease grew. The humans appeared primitive, their technology crude, and their civilization divided. Yet increasingly, their planet itself seemed to resist Confederation presence in ways that defied explanation. In Washington, the political theater continued. Human leaders expressed concern about the strange environmental events, appearing just as confused as the aliens. Meanwhile, through the quantum network, they coordinated humanity's true response. "They're beginning to suspect," Dr. James Morrison observed, "but their own preconceptions blind them. They cannot imagine that a primitive species could achieve what we have: perfect integration with our world's natural systems." General Patel reviewed the latest data from the quantum network. The Confederation's growing frustration was leading them exactly where humanity wanted, toward a confrontation of humanity's choosing. "Prepare for Phase 4, she ordered. "It's time to let them make their first aggressive move. Then we'll show them just a fraction of what Earth's warriors can do." As night fell once again, the Confederation's ships maintained their orbital positions, their crews increasingly wary of the seemingly primitive world below. They had no way of knowing that every star they used for navigation now contained quantum-entangled particles placed there by humanity's true space program, or that the very cosmic radiation they used for scanning was being manipulated to feed them false data. The stage was set for humanity's first real demonstration of power, and the Confederation was about to learn that on Earth, nature itself was a weapon. The counterstrike. Supreme Commander Zaxtil had finally lost patience with the mysterious failures plaguing his expedition. After losing contact with 3 more survey teams and experiencing inexplicable equipment malfunctions across every continent, he decided to force the issue. A primitive civilization shouldn't be able to resist a full Confederation show of force. "Deploy the harvester ships," he commanded. "Begin resource extraction operations at all designated sites simultaneously. Let's see how these humans react to a direct demonstration of our power." In the Antarctic Command Center, General Maya Patel watched the alien ships descend through Earth's atmosphere. Her neural interface sparkled with incoming data as humanity's hidden sensors tracked every vessel. "They've taken the bait," she announced to the Global Command Network. "All teams, Execute Operation Revelation. Show them exactly what we want them to see. Nothing more, nothing less. As the Confederation's massive harvester ships positioned themselves above major resource deposits, their sensors detected something unexpected. The primitive nuclear signatures they'd been tracking suddenly vanished, replaced by energy readings that shouldn't have been possible for Earth's level of technology. In the Amazon, Dr. Isabella Santos activated the first phase of humanity's response. The rainforest canopy rippled as billions of engineered leaves simultaneously altered their quantum states, creating a cascading wave of energy that disrupted the harvester's gravitational systems. To the alien sensors, it appeared as if the laws of physics themselves were being rewritten. Impossible, Zach still muttered as reports flooded in. Their technology was primitive, unless... His fourth eye widened as realization began to dawn. Deep beneath the Pacific, Dr. Sarah Chen initiated the oceanic defense grid. The sea itself came alive as engineered bacteria activated in concert, creating massive electromagnetic pulses that appeared to emanate from the Earth's magnetic field rather than any recognizable technology. Confederation ships began losing power, their advanced shields useless against attacks that seemed to come from nature itself. In orbit, Zach still watched in growing horror as his fleet's supposedly impenetrable defenses were systematically neutralized by forces they couldn't even properly detect. "Launch the combat drones," he ordered, his voice carrying an edge of desperation. "Full-spectrum defensive protocols." The moment the drones left their carrier ships, Lieutenant Aisha Pasha sprang into action. Her hot dog cart dissolved into a swarm of nanobots that swiftly infiltrated the alien machines through their air intakes. Across every major city, similar transformations took place as humanity's hidden technology revealed itself. "Drone fleet is compromised," she reported calmly. Initiating remote control sequence. The Confederation forces watched in disbelief as their own drones turned against them, herding the harvester ships into predetermined zones where Earth's defenses were strongest. Each attempted countermeasure by the aliens was met with a precisely calibrated response that showcased just enough of humanity's capabilities to be terrifying, while still concealing their true extent. In Washington, the political facade finally dropped. The human leaders who had played at being primitive and ought now stood revealed as the commanders of Earth's defense. Their broadcasts to the Confederation ships carried none of their previous subservience. "You have entered restricted space and attempted unauthorized resource extraction," the unified Earth government announced. "This is your only warning. Withdraw immediately or face the consequences of your actions." Zach, still watching his fleet's systems fail one by one, realized the magnitude of the deception his expedition had fallen for. "All ships, emergency withdrawal protocols," he ordered. "Get us out of this gravity well." But retreat wasn't as simple as he hoped. The very space around Earth had been altered. Quantum fields disrupted their faster-than-light drives, while engineered gravitational anomalies held their ships in place with inexorable force. Dr. Marcus Wong monitored the aliens' desperate attempts to escape from his station in Antarctica. "Their drive signatures are destabilizing exactly as predicted," he reported. "They'll need at least 30 minutes to recalibrate their systems." "Perfect," General Patel responded. "Just enough time for our demonstration. Dr. Chen, you may proceed with the orbital display." In that moment, the true extent of humanity's space presence became visible. Quantum camouflage fields dropped around Earth's orbit, revealing constellations of advanced satellites and defense platforms that had been there all along. The primitive chemical rockets and crude satellites the aliens had detected were exposed as clever props in humanity's planetary-scale deception. By the first light, Zach still whispered as his sensors registered the true scope of Earth's technological achievement. The humans hadn't just hidden their capabilities, they had created an entirely false civilization as a facade. While their real society operated on levels the Confederation had barely theorized. As the alien fleet hung helpless in Earth's orbit, humanity's message was clear. They had never been the primitive civilization the Confederation assumed. Every failure, every malfunction, every seemingly natural occurrence had been carefully orchestrated to lead to this moment. General Patel opened a direct channel to Zaxtil's command ship. "Supreme Commander," she said, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's unified strength, "shall we discuss the terms of your withdrawal? Or would you prefer another demonstration of Earth's defensive capabilities?" The wolves had shed their sheep's clothing, and the galaxy would never look at humanity the same way again. Respect through fear. The Confederation High Council chamber fell into stunned silence as they watched Supreme Commander Zaxtil's final report. The massive holographic display showed Earth's defense systems activating in sequences that should have been impossible for a pre-unification civilization. More disturbing were the energy readings that suggested technologies the Confederation had never even conceived of. "This cannot be accurate," First Speaker Kalax declared, his crystalline form vibrating with distress. "No species could hide such advancement. Our preliminary surveys showed a primitive nuclear-age civilization." "That's exactly what they wanted us to see," Zaxtil responded, his four eyes now modified to show the trauma of witnessing humanity's true power. "Everything we observed was orchestrated. The primitive satellites, the divided nations, the crude attempts at fusion power, all of it was theater, a masterfully crafted deception." In Earth's Antarctic Command Center, General Maya Patel watched the Confederation Council's reaction through quantum-entangled sensors that had been hidden in Zaxtil's ship during its escape. The feed showed exactly what humanity had hoped for: fear tempered with fascination. "Phase 5 is proceeding as planned," she reported to the United Earth government. "The Confederation is beginning to understand exactly what they've encountered." Dr. Sarah Chen's voice came through the quantum network from her Pacific Command Center. "Our analysis of their technology during the confrontation exceeded expectations. Their most advanced systems are decades behind our current capabilities, and they have no defense against our integrated biological-technological approach." The Confederation Council's debate grew more heated as the implications became clear. Their entire strategy of technological superiority and gradual integration of primitive worlds had been built on assumptions that humanity had just shattered. "The humans didn't just hide their technology," Zaxtil continued. "They hid their entire civilization. Their world isn't divided. It's more unified than the Confederation itself. What we saw as environmental hazards were actually planetary-scale defense systems. Even their microorganisms are engineered to respond to their commands." In Washington, Dr. James Morrison coordinated with the diplomatic corps as they prepared for the next phase of human expansion into the galaxy. "The psychological impact is exactly what we predicted," he reported. "They're questioning everything they thought they knew about technological development and species classification. Humanity's strategy had been perfect, not just in hiding their capabilities, but in revealing them. They had shown enough power to demonstrate their superiority, while still maintaining crucial secrets. The Confederation knew they were seeing only what humanity wanted them to see, and that uncertainty bred a deeper fear than any direct threat could have achieved." Lieutenant Aisha Pasha, now openly operating as Earth's chief of counterintelligence, compiled the final data on the Confederation's response. "Their military forces are withdrawing from every sector within 50 light-years of Earth," she announced. "They're establishing a quarantine zone, officially to protect other species from our influence, but really because they're terrified of what else we might be hiding." In orbit, Earth's true space fleet decloaked section by section, revealing vessels that merged biological and technological elements in ways that made Confederation ships look primitive by comparison. Each revelation was carefully timed to maximize psychological impact on the watching galaxy. "We should have known," one council member whispered during the emergency session. "No natural evolution produces a species that develops nuclear weapons before achieving planetary unity. They were never primitive. They were practicing restraint." The truth was even more frightening than they imagined. Humanity had achieved unity not through conquest or crisis, but through foresight. They had seen the stars and known that survival meant more than just technological advancement. It meant understanding when to hide that advancement. Dr. Marcus Wong's voice carried satisfaction as he reported from the Antarctic facility. The Confederation's scientific databases are being updated to reclassify Earth. We're no longer listed as a pre-unification civilization. And what's our new classification? General Patel asked, already knowing the answer. They've created an entirely new category, Wong replied. We're now classified as an apex deception species, a civilization capable of hiding its true nature from even the most advanced scanning technology. The designation sent shockwaves through the galactic community. Other species began reviewing their own encounters with humanity, wondering what else these master deceivers might be hiding. Trade routes were hastily redrawn to avoid Earth space, not out of hostility, but out of a deep-seated fear of the unknown. In the final session of the Confederation Council's emergency meeting, First Speaker Kallax summarized what everyone was thinking. We must fundamentally change how we approach first contact protocols. If the humans could hide this much, how many other species might be concealing their true nature? The galaxy is no longer as simple as we thought. General Patel stood at her command station, watching the stars through sensors that could detect quantum fluctuations in deep space. Humanity's great deception was over, but its effects would reshape galactic politics for centuries to come. They had proven that true power lies not in the ability to intimidate, but in the wisdom to know when to appear harmless. Send the final message to the Confederation Council, she ordered. Let them know that Earth is open to diplomatic relations, on equal terms. As humanity's message traveled across the galaxy, carried by technologies that the Confederation still couldn't comprehend, one thing became clear: the age of underestimating humanity was over. They had shown the galaxy that sometimes the most dangerous predator is the one that chooses to hide its teeth until the perfect moment to strike. The wolves had not just revealed themselves, they had changed the rules of the game forever.